just want to do a really short, hopefully short video highlighting how to do a background, because I realized that earlier I said, hey, we're going to do a background in the next video, and then it was like the next video, and then I just forgot. So this is the background that I've been using. It's free to download. You can grab it. It's called Glacial Mountains. And I'm going to show you two ways to do a background. So when you extract it, you're going to have these files in there. You're also going to have this layers file where all the different layers are made up. So first thing, I'll just show you how you can create a background in your game that's static. Because this is a one-screen platformer, I don't know if I've made it clear, but you should keep everything within this canvas area, not within the camera zone. Your camera may still be up here somewhere. I moved my camera, but inside here. Now I'm just going to remove this parallax background for now. Is there a way I can remove it without completely deleting it? Because I don't want to delete it. So I'm just going to turn it off. Actually, I'll just turn off each of these. I don't want to have to make it again. It was a bit of a pain. Now this one here though, I'm just going to add in the glacial background. And this is going to be really simple. It's just going to be a sprite, to be honest. I don't need to worry about anything else. It's a sprite. It's going to be behind everything else. So put it up here. I'll just call it background. And I'll find that glacial sprite that I was going to use. This one here. I'll bring it in. I didn't mean for it to go into there, so I'll bring that down to sprites. There we go. And is that in the right place? Sometimes it's a little bit funny where it wants to go. Scripts, sprites. Put it there for some reason. All right. There we go. So this one, I'm just going to click that and then drag that into there. Now, that's not the right size, obviously. So I'm just going to scale it up. I've got pixel snapping set on and other snapping set on. I'll hold shift while I scale it. I'll position it in the top left corner there and then just scale it to that. Now that's going to be my background, and that'll just be a static background. It won't do anything. It won't move with the player. It's going to be fairly simple. So you can do that and you're done. You've got a simple background that you can use. But I actually want to use a parallax background for mine. So the way that we create a parallax background, and I'm going to just go through this, is that you create the parallax background node. And then you create different layers under it. So I've got parallax background. Then I've got the sky. This is at the top because it's the furthest one back. Then I've got the clouds that are in the background. So this is my sky. Then I've got the clouds that are in the background, which is this here. I'll talk about the settings over here in a minute. Then I've got the mountains, which are in front of that, and I've got the clouds, which are in the foreground down here. So under each of these layers, I've just put a sprite. So similar to what I did with the background, I've got a sprite, which has the big blue texture in it for the sky. I've got a sprite, which has the cloud texture in the background there. So I can turn that on and off so you can see which one I'm talking about. Then I've got the sprite here, which is the mountain texture. And then I've got the sprite for the cloud foreground, which is that one there. Now, because they weren't the right size, and as you saw in the previous one, when I just put that background in, I had to scale it up. So I had to do the same thing with these. Now, I'm pretty sure I just scaled them all up 4 by 4, except for that sprite, which didn't really matter because it's just a big blue shape. So I could scale it at an odd angle without it stretching. But all of these ones, I said scale 4, 4. Now I need to do some simple math here. I needed to know what the actual size of this image was. There's a reason for that. So this image was 384 by 216. I only need to know this number, to be honest. I don't need to worry about the second one. So 384 by 216, and I'm going to scale it 4 times. Now what that means is when I go into the layering for it, the mirroring value has to be the size that the image is scaled, not the size of the original image. So I'm hopeless at maths. I know that that image was 384, and I'm pretty sure they all were 384. So in the layer, the mirroring, I'll just show you what happens if I set it to 0, which is what the default value is. It's not going to go that way. Now, this won't actually matter too much, except when I get all the way over this side of the image and the parallax background kind of goes, I may see this edge. So I do want to mirror it. And all I can do is just go 384 times 4. I can put that in there and it will do the calculation for me, and that comes out. Let's say I just threw a random number in there, 1800. Well, now there's a big gap here. That's not what I want. So I can put that back to what it was. 384 times 4. There we go. It was 384, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so same with this one. I've got it scaled 4 by 4. And then I've set mirroring to 1536. This one as well, I had scaled it 4 by 4. So I'd set mirroring to that there as well. And the sky, well, I didn't need to do anything really with the sky. I just set the mirroring to 720. I could set it higher, lower. It wasn't really a problem because it's just one big solid color. So there was nowhere for it to line up perfectly. Now the last thing you need to do with the parallax is to set the scale at the top here. So the further back an object is, the scale for the motion should be lower. So the very, very back is probably not going to move much at all. So I actually set this to 0. It's just a solid color. You won't notice if it's moving or not. But the clouds in the background here, I've set their scale. That's not meant to be 1. I'll check in a sec. It's meant to be 0.2. And then the mountains I've set to 0.4. And this one I've set to 0.6. I'll actually turn the scale up quite a lot just so you can see what happens. So I'll put this at 1, I'll put this at 2, and I'll put this at 3. You probably won't see the clouds down the bottom. And then I'll run the game. So you'll see here that as I move around, down the bottom, the mountains move quite a bit. Now I can't actually get back up there, so if I move the player all the way back over to the left hand side and start the game from here, you'll see that as I move to the right, that's a bug there, as I move to the right and go through here, the backgrounds will change and kind of scroll a little bit. So you won't get that with just a static background, but you do get it with this parallax background, and I think it looks quite cool. I did make a change to the level design there because I found it was really frustrating for the player to have to kind of wait for the right timing there to get it perfect. And so that's some things that you might want to change as well. Also, oops, playing with that. One thing I do want to add is a small delay when they die. But that's the background, that's done. There are plenty of parallax backgrounds on itch.io that work really well. So feel free to have a look at those.